Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Racing Podblast with me, Tony Mack, and Ben Aiken from Narrowing the Field. And we have a busy show for you today, although still all packed into roughly 20 minutes as usual. We start this week's Podblast with coverage of the Imperial Cup and its Imperial Cup day at Sandown, taking in 3 races from there, including the big handicap itself, the Imperial Cup Handicap Hurdle. We then move on to the next round of our ongoing Football Trixie Battle, top, middle and bottom, before circling back to the racing and giving you a couple of each-way plays for next week's Cheltenham Festival. Sandown first, though, and starting with the big race of the weekend, the Imperial Cup Handicap Hurdle over 2 miles, due over 2:25. First of our 3 races under analysis this week. Welcome along, Ben, and can you start us off with that one?
Morning, Tony. Yep, Imperial Cup. Generally, a race holds up well for race trends analysis, the Imperial Cup. I've got some race trends for listeners to factor into their analysis. The last 12 winners of the race all met the following. Rated at least £10 lower than the top-rated horse. Had 1, 2 or 3 previous hurdle wins. Had between 1 and 11 previous handicap hurdle starts. And were returning off a break of 16 to 95 days. Using those as my basis, my starting point, I'm looking at a loose shortlist in the Imperial Cup of Spirits Bay, Reckless Eric, King William Rufus and Hardy de Soy. Spirits Bay, he finished 3rd in the international hurdle behind Constitution Hill last time out. He was clearly just in there to try and scoof up some place prize money. Back in a handicap company here, and he's still unexposed as a handicapper, and he does look like he's still a more offer from his mark of 125. And coming back right-handed should also be a positive for him. He's 3 wins and a second from 4 starts right-handed compared to 1 from 7 left-handed. There's 1 left-handed win coming in a bumper. His last 2 starts right-handed saw him post 2 comfortable wins at Exeter around this time last year. And he looks interested in this Spirits Bay. Reckless Eric, he's been steadily progressive in his career so far. Probably was one of those that didn't quite handle the Windsor track last time out. For all, it wasn't a bad effort. It should still have improvement to come off his mark of 127. So Reckless Eric, he's in my thoughts as well. King William Rufus, he's a bit of a tricky one to get a proper handle on. He's consistent, but he doesn't win much. I thought he ran a decent race last time out at Newbury in the William Hill Hurdle. He finished 6th that day, but he was only 12 lengths off the runner-up at the line. And he was the first one to make a move to go after the runaway leader, Mirabad, in the race, which he probably paid for in the closing stages. But he still finished well ahead of the others that were setting or chasing the pace. The race very much suiting those that were ridden held up. So much better effort than the bare form suggests. And he could go well at a price here, King William Rufus. And Hardy de Soy, he's the other on my shortlist. He's maybe at his best in the October to February period, but we've only just dropped out of February. So if you extend that to October to March and look at him on right-handed tracks and off breaks of 56 days or less, you see he is an unbeaten 3 from 3, which is all 3 of his career wins. A £7 claimer takes him back down to a very appealing mark. They also stick cheek pieces back on him. He went close to winning the first 2 times he wore cheek pieces, and he's not had them on yet this season. So if they spark life at him, he could go well. Hardy de Soy. The Imperial Cup is one of the races I'm covering for my members this weekend, so I will be having another trawl through the runners after we finish the pod, but I do like the chances of Spirits Bay. I like him coming back right-handed. So he's who I'm putting up here. Spirits Bay. Tony, what you got for the Imperial Cup?
I've got a couple at around, one at around 8 to 1, one at around 12 to 1 for the Imperial Cup. Batman Girac for trainer Willie Mullins. Irish Raider. JJ Slevin is in the saddle for owners Simon Manure and Isaac Swade. That's around 8 to 1. He needs to get his form back. He's got absolutely zero looking form. And including a fall last time out when he was making headway 2 out, and he was also keeping on when he fell at the last fence. So hopefully he can resurrect his form of that and jump cleanly in this race over 2 miles. Batman Girac at around 8-1. Ooh, Betty, I've got as well at 12-1 for Ben Clark and Ben Jones. Interestingly, Ben Jones in the saddle here. And he's a course and distance winner, won on seasonal debut over course and distance, beating 6 rivals at 3.5 lengths with Ben Jones in the saddle that day. That was off a £9 lower mark. So hopefully he can go well. He did win again, actually, at Kempton's Christmas meeting, Ben, beating 7 rivals a length. Big boy Bobby was in second there, and that was off a £4 lower mark. So hopefully, Betty can go well. The other ones on my shortlist, To Chase a Dream at around 14-1 for Paul Collins and Brian Hughes in the saddle there. He was last seen at Doncaster in January, finishing second of 7, beating 6 lengths behind Classic King in a 16 grand race as well. Class 2 race there. That wasn't a bad effort. And the Hardy de Sol, I'm with you on Hardy de Sol, mate. 28-1 is far too big for Hardy de Sol, and I'll be looking closely at this course and distance winner as post time approaches. On to the 3:35, the Betfair Exchange Handicap Chase, Class 3 handicap over 3 miles, Ben.
Yeah, only 6 going to post for us, but I think it's an intriguing enough race. I'm interested to see how Cello gets on back over fences. He posted a really strong pro form speed figure when winning a graduation chase at Ascot on his UK chase debut in December 2023. He bombed out badly in his next 2 starts, both at Cheltenham. Likely didn't handle the track. This season have kept him to hurdles so far, where he's run some decent races on a couple of occasions. Chasing should be where he makes an impact, though, so I'm glad they're coming back over the bigger obstacles. Probably not one I want to be back in until I see how he gets on back over fences, though. I'm not the biggest fan of Nicky Henderson handicap chasers at Sandown either. They're only 1 from 44 since 2016. So I'm happy to watch Cello here. Hopefully he shows something, as he is one I think could have something decent in him down the line. Holy Smoke, he's another that interests me as a chaser. He won over pretty much this trip at Sandown, at the Sandown meeting at the start of December, and ran an odd sort of race at Newbury next time out. Maybe he just didn't handle the track. Maybe didn't see out the extra 2 furlongs that day. I'm not sure the exact reason, but he finished off quite weakly that day, and not for any glaring, obvious reason. But he is a horse I like, Holy Smoke, but I think I just want to see how he runs here without my money down. So I'm going to side with Java Point for Henry Oliver. He's a horse that has frustrated me plenty, but takes a big step down in class here from Class 1 level. So his last 2 starts have been, and he's back to a course and distance he won over last February off a £1 lower mark when he won the Class 2 Masters Chase. Under the conditions Java Point meets with here, Class 2 or below, 2 mile 4 to 3 miles on a slightly undulating track, a mark of 130 or less, and the January to April period, he's an unbeaten 5 from 5. So Java Point is the one for me here to make it 6 from 6 under his prime conditions, hopefully. Tony, what you got for this handicap?
Good old mate. I've got 2 here, and I'm going Dutch as well. I'm going Dutch again on a couple of horses that are rated 127. Rex Dingle is in the saddle on Dreaming Blue for trainer Anthony Honeyball at 11-4. That is last seen at the start of February. Finishing second of 9, beaten 2 3/4 lengths by O'Connell at a decent price as well, 14-1 that day in the £26,000 race, Class 2 on heavy ground. He's also finished. He also won on good to soft at Ludlow in December, beating 6 rivals 1 1/4 lengths off just a £3 lower mark as well. So Dreaming Blue, hopefully to go well in this race for trainer Anthony Honeyball, and the other one is Jolie Smoke, course and distance winner. That was back in December, beating 5 rivals 4 1/4 lengths, including Passing Well, who finished second. He was the 9-4 favourite, Jolie Smoke, there for Dan Skelton and Harry Skelton. That's around 100-30. Hopefully, he was beaten favourite last time out, run no sort of race, beaten 35 lengths as the 5-2 favourite at Newbury over Christmas, but I think he can go better here. And I've got Jolie Smoke at 100-30 and at 11-4 Dreaming Blue in that race off at 3:35. On to the 4:45 Betfair.com handicap chase, Class 3 handicap over 2 miles 4 furlongs. Here, Ben, what you got?
Yeah, a decent looking field for this Class 3, I thought. 3 in the race are sitting as handicap sleepers, as ones that are on a mark below or on what they've previously won from. That 3 are Excitations, Triple Trade, and Mint Gold. Excitations won at Sandown last time out over a trip just short of 2 miles. That took his Sandown chase record to 3 from 4. He again gets his prime conditions here. A mark of 1, 3, 4 or less handicaps with 13 or less runners and a break of between 21 and 100 days. Under those conditions, he's 8 wins and 2 places from 11 starts. Stepping up to 2 mile 4 here is the obvious query. All his wins have come over shorter than 2 mile 1. Although he has placed over and around these longer trips, Excitations. Triple Trade, he bounced back to form at Kempton last time out. That coincided with them stepping him back up to a mid-distance trip. That's where he's at his best. He also gets his fine conditions here. It handicaps over further than 2 mile 2, a mark of 135 or less, and fields of 10 or less, where he is 4 wins and 2 seconds from 7 starts. This is also a drop in class from his last run. He's dropping from a 0 to 140 race down to a 0 to 130 race. If he runs anywhere near the figure he posted last time out, then he's going to be bang there at the finish, Triple Trade. And Mint Gold, he's the other handicap sleeper in the race. He's not been in the best of form recently, but he's been stuck above his handicap ceiling since his win at Musselburgh in November 2023. He's back down to that last win on Mark now, and he gets his prime conditions to shoot for. Chase or hurdles on a right-handed track, fields of 10 or less, and a mark of 117 or less, where he is 4 wins and a place from 5 starts. Mint Gold is also Lucinda Russell's only runner at Sandown, and she does have a solid strike rate over the Sandown fences, especially with our runners that are off breaks of 42 days or less. 4 winners and 5 place from 13 runners. She's also booked the boy Jack Power for the ride. Jack Power, who did the job for me last week on the pod on Bold Light up at Kelso. I think his £7 claim is another boost to Mint Gold's chances. I think he's on the way to becoming a decent jockey for the Lucinda Russell yard. So quite like Mint Gold's chances. No prices up for this race at the time of recording, so we'll just need to keep our eyes open on that score. But of the 3 I covered, I do like Triple Trade. This is his correct trip, and he's got his prime conditions to shoot for, so Triple Trade is the one I'll be looking to play. I might also have a dabble on Mint Gold if there's some each way juice to his price, which you'd hope there would be. So Triple Trade and possibly Mint Gold. For me, Tony, what you got for this closing handicap?
With you, mate, on Triple Trade for Joe Tizard and Brendan Powell in the saddle. Finished second of 10. As you said, beaten 7 lengths last time out. An eye-catching run early February on soft ground. I think he can go very well. And the form is mighty. I've going for the Skeltons as well. But this one's come up on my ratings, and he finished second, beaten ahead in his 8-runner race, beaten behind New Order 6-1 on the 12th of February, middle of February last month at Wetherby. Ran a good race there, and I think he's improving. I think he's a spring horse as well. The form is mighty. He's a distance winner. I think he can go well tomorrow for the Skeltons, Dan and Harry Skelton and Triple Trade. I'm with you. So good luck with anybody supporting Triple Trade tomorrow. Right now, time for the soccer.
The great thing about loving football is you cannot explain why you love it. It just happens. Chasing a ball round a park, wanting one team to win against the other.
El Mahoney, right foot, whips it. Oh, Jeezy Peeps, man.
Jeezy Peeps, man. Ben, what's the scores on the doors?
Yeah, but if you ever go to Scotland, mate, and you go into a pub and you call it soccer, you're probably going to get your head kicked in. Probably the same from where you're at as well.
Yes.
But just the one winner for me last week. No winners for you, so -4 for both of us. Current totals: me plus 28.48, Tony minus 37.66. This week, my top, middle, and bottom is top Falkirk to beat Dunfermline at 9-20. A shorty here I'm starting with. It's only going one way. League leaders Falkirk have only lost once at home this season. Second bottom Dunfermline have only won once away from home. 30 points separate them at the minute. It'll be 33 after this game. So Falkirk to kick me off this week. Middle, Cali Thistle to beat Dumbarton at evens. Dumbarton have completely lost the plot. They've lost their last 5 matches. They've lost 8 of their last 9. They've conceded 2 or more in 8 of their last 9. And they face a Cali team here who can smell safety on the horizon despite their 15-point deduction. And I'm going to take Cali to pile the misery on dodgy Dumbarton with a win here in the middle. And bottom, Clyde to beat East Fife at 17-10. Clyde are definitely playing much better now Darren Young's in charge. Home is the place to catch them. 23 of their 30 points have come at home. They've also got a decent home record against East Fife. They've won 5 of the last 7. They've only lost once at home in those matches against East Fife. And this might be a good time to be playing East Fife. They've only won 1 of their last 5 matches. And the goals seem to have dried up. Only 2 scored in the last 5. So I'm going for our boys Clyde to round out my top, middle and bottom this week, which gives me a top, middle and bottom of top Falkirk, middle Inverness, Caledonian Thistle, and bottom Clyde. Tony, what you got?
Good stuff, good stuff. I've got top Airdrie to beat Hamilton at 69-50. What on earth is going on there? 69. What is 69-50? Airdrie to beat Hamilton there. That's from the top. The middle, Cove Rangers to beat Queen of the South at even money, and Elgin on the bottom to beat Forfar at 11-10. So Airdrie at 69-50, Cove Rangers at evens, and Elgin City at 11-10. And as promised, here we go. I haven't looked at the time yet, but anyway, as promised, we close out the show this week with a bit of Cheltenham Festival coverage, and we've both got some each-way players for you to consider next week. Ben, start us off with your 2.
Yeah, a couple of each-way plays for people to consider for next week. My first one is Escaria 10 in the cross-country chase on Wednesday at 50-1 in a couple of books, 40-1 in a few others. I thought he ran well in his first spin over the fences at the summer meeting, finished 4th that day, only beaten just under 5 lengths. He meets the 2, finished 1st and 2nd that day on better terms here. His trainer Martin Keithley also has some excellent stats with his runners over the cross-country fences. 4 winners and 7th place from his 25 runners. Escaria 10, he's almost 20 pounds below his peak rating, but he's shown decent enough form in his last 2 starts to suggest he could still have something left to give. So Escaria 10 each way in the cross-country chase at 40 or 50-1 if you can get it. And my second one is Therese in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle on Thursday. She's available at 20-1, pretty much across the board. She was an easy win at Navan at the start of the month, last month. I think she looks overpriced for this. She doesn't quite fit a Henry de Bromhead angle I have plugged in. All bar one of his Cheltenham winners ran in a graded race last time out. Therese run in a listed race. I can give a bit of leeway for that. If it's below listed level, I'd probably give her a swerve. But 20-1 odds, and the fact it was still a Class 1 race she ran in means I'm happy enough to give her a spin. So Therese is my second each-way play, and she's in the Mayor's Novices Hurdle for Henry de Bromhead. Escaria 10 and Therese. Tony, what you got? What's your each-way Cheltenham plays?
Yeah, Escaria 10 and Back on the Lash both train on the actual cross-country course, and there is video evidence of that as well. And we did back it, myself and my son, George, when he was 4th of 15, backed him at 80-1. In December, and he actually knew where he was going. He took James Best round the course that day. So Escaria 10, and just go back and watch on the 13th of December at Cheltenham the cross country there that they put up that they had on, and Escaria 10 runs an absolute cracker. He's prominent all the way through. He's disputing the lead, and he's doing really well. And I think he'll run a big race. I'm with you on that, and don't discount Back on the Lash, who's been he's been trained for this obviously, but he's been running back over chase fences as well. He was last seen in October. No, he wasn't. He was last seen in November over the cross-country fences, finishing 3rd of 9. So both the Martin Keithleys both train on the course, Back on the Lash, and Ascaria 10. Massive there, brilliant. Good shout out, good find there. Mine are in the 240. I'll be very quick on this. The 240 at Cheltenham, the Pertemps network. Is that, what day is that, Thursday? The Pertemps network. I know I'm completely nuts going for this one, or having anything in this race, but what's available? Mouse Morris finished second of 20 over Christmas at the Leopardstown Christmas meeting at Leopardstown, and then he was put in a listed hurdle he had no chance of winning, and consequently finishing 15th of 25, beating 24 lengths. He's 33 to 1. He needs a few to come out, but what's available is a typical Pertemps horse. They either run him in a grade 3 or a grade 2 or a listed where they've got no chance. They get absolutely battered, and the bookies just push them out, basically. Lazy bookies. Cheltenham on the Wednesday. Sorry, going back to the Wednesday. In the bumper, I do like the chances of Idaho Sun for Harry Fry at 25 to 1. He's won both his bumpers so far. Newton Abbott, and in January at Windsor, where he did well to win on the idiosyncratic track of Windsor, and he beat 9 rivals by 3 lengths there. So that's my 2 there, and Idaho Sun currently at around 25 to 1. All right, many thanks for listening. Latest edition of the Racing Podblast, and very best of luck with your bets at Sandown this weekend, and of course next week at the Cheltenham Festival. You can catch me on TalkSport 2 next week, where I'll be part of the team covering all the action from Cheltenham, and you can catch Ben over on narrowinthefield.co.uk. If you haven't already done so, make sure you download his free Cheltenham Festival guide. There's a link in the description of the Podblast episode, where you get your Podblasts from. Thanks, and we'll see you again next week. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, tonight.